Welcome to the Hasn't Been 3 Days podcast, brought to you by Thielander Leadership Consulting, where everybody needs a little TLC, with your hosts Justin and BJ, where we talk about 3-day-old news, sports, whatever else we want to talk about. You, the MVP listener, you listen in, you email us at 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. Tell us what you think about our takes, but just don't let us know unless it's been 3 days. So here we are, week 2, season 2. Deuces Wild.
It's episode 22, I think, too.
Episode 22. We got way too many twos
Man.
in tonight's show. So, how the heck are you, sir?
I am doing swell. It's good weather here. We're in the 50s and 60s after being negative 29 last week, but, that's normal. So,
Wow.
Yeah, and it's staying lighter outside longer, so it's like it's almost time to golf.
Yeah, I thought that too today, and I had to wear my sunglasses home from work half of the way, so that was pretty cool.
Do you wear your sunglasses inside ever?
No.
No?
No.
Does it only happen if you forgot they were on?
I usually don't take them in. I usually stay in the car.
Yeah.
So,
Do you ever lose your sunglasses on top of your head?
I have.
Yeah.
I also had a pair of Oakleys busted because they were on top of my head once. Yeah.
How they, just because you jumped up and hit your head on the ceiling or what?
No.
Oh.
No, I was newly married and had a new son, and
oh yeah, he busted him.
I picked him up onto my shoulders and didn't remember my glasses were up there, and they dropped. He didn't do it. They dropped and hit the ground and broke. But it was my fault, completely my fault. But I was not happy with myself because those were not cheap sunglasses.
No. I hate it when you lose sunglasses on top of your head and you look for them for like an hour.
Yeah, or your phone that's in your hands while you're looking through stuff.
When you turn on your flashlight, what are you doing? I'm looking for my phone.
Yeah.
You're like, you idiot. That's never happened to anybody in our audience. Our audience is really smart. So
yeah.
But
perfect.
if you've done something stupid like that, please let us know. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Oh, and nice plug for your business. I dig it.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about that in the pre-show, but whatever. We can just keep it going. We gotta slip things in there. I'm just joking.
Yep. If you are a small business owner, if you are a nonprofit organization leader of any kind, and you need to focus on what matters most, let me handle the details for you. Thielander Leadership Consulting, where everybody needs a little TLC. Contact us today. Check us out on the socials. How's that? Does that work too?
If you got questions about life, I'm Justin at LinkedIn. Justin Rabel.
.Facebook.
Dot MySpace. Hit me up on my MySpace. I'll put you in my top 7.
Yep. That's good.
Goodness. Well, what was on your? What did you do this last weekend? Anything exciting? Did you? I don't know.
I had to work this weekend. I had a board meeting for my day job, and it went well, our annual meeting, and so that was good. And so I worked Saturday, had my kids, and so I got to see them for a little bit and just had a good time, went to church. We're going to a new church, and it's a really cool, small little church, and we're really enjoying it. So got to do that. That was fun. There's a lot of firefighters in our church, in the volunteer firefighter community in the town that we go to church in. And there were 2 fire calls during church. And so you could hear the people's pagers going off or their cell phones or whatever they are getting the alarms on. And a couple of them had to get up and leave. So
that would really throw off a pastor if he's giving like a really good message, and he's like, you're like, why are people leaving?
No, he's the fire chaplain, so he's used to it. And he heard the siren and he immediately just said a prayer real quick, and it was really seamless. So it was pretty good. He's pretty good.
Does that church remind you of any church that you've ever like pastored before or anything like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It reminds me of our church in Iberia a little bit, just in size, and but they do a really good job. They're on Facebook every week, Facebook Live, and the production in house is really really top quality for a church that's as small as it is. But we've got a couple young families, and so it's been pretty cool.
That's cool. That's good. Finding that place to get connected, right? So
Yep.
good. Well, I went to the same church I've been going to since I've existed practically. No. But no. This weekend Brenton had archery again, so archery tournaments all around.
Did you go buy some bows and shoot in the backyard?
We have not. It was a guys' weekend. After we watched him shooting archery, I asked him if we should go to the state-run one where it's public. You can just go shoot, and they have bows. And I asked him, I said, "Do you want to go shoot and see if you can beat your dad?" And he told me, "Dad, I don't know if you're good at this." And I said, he's like, "You never shot a bow." And I was like, "Well, I'm going to give it a try." So I think he was trying to tell me he didn't want to hurt my feelings. But I haven't shot a bow since high school.
Gym class in high school, yep.
And we had the single bow. They have these nice compound ones now. Wow. Even for middle school, whatever. So no, Brenton's doing pretty good. He's excelling in that. And for somebody who's never shot a bow and doesn't own one, we don't own targets. We don't own anything related. Shoots once a week and then goes to these tournaments and puts up decent numbers. So
cool.
Yeah. My dad joined me this week, and we were sitting there watching him in the front row, and he would come over and talk to us in between. And I said, "Bren," and there's this mom sitting next to us, and their daughter's shooting for the first time. And I was like, "Bren, you know what you have to do? You got to split those arrows. I mean, you're split those arrows just like Robin Hood." I said, "All we want to see is bullseyes. I don't want anything else." We were joking around with him, and he's like, "Oh, Dad." And I was like, "Fine, we'll take all zeros." And my dad was like, you know my dad. We're just going back and forth with him, and the mom's just sitting there kind of laughing, kind of looking at us like, are they being serious right now? Are they talking to the kid this way? And then he ended up being the row partner, the lane partner, I should say, with that lady. We found out the daughter for it. And she goes, because I could hear her coaching her daughter from afar, and she goes, "Oh, this is her first year shooting." And I said, "Yeah, it's my son's first year." And she's like, "What?" I mean, because he's scoring in the 240s and perfect scores 300. So he's doing really good and getting some decent bullseyes. So we heckled him. Brenton, we heckled him pretty good. We were having fun with him. He's a good sport about it, so he kind of brushes it off. So
yeah, that's good.
I just try to keep it. I don't know anything about archery. I just, I'm trying to give him pointers, but I don't really know. Gravity is all I know, right? So I'm just like, well, if you're going to shoot further distance, you might have to go higher because, I don't really know. But poundage also on the compound bow is a different too for it. So he hasn't had a consistent week where he's had the same pounds each. So hopefully he can get a week where he's practicing with the same one he shoots with at the tournament, at the meet or whatever they call them. So
if he had his own, could he use his own at the tournaments?
Oh yeah, there's kids who just come in with these nice cases. And yeah. I just investment wise, right now, if I found one super cheap and used, I would pull the trigger. But really, I just don't know what poundage to use or how easy that is to adjust within a bow, or how much you can do that within the bow setup itself. I don't know enough of that to be dangerous.
Well, guess what?
What?
We have this platform. So if you know anything about compound bows and hunting or bow and arrows and shooting compound bows and poundage, please email us at 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. And we would love to get your expertise so we can talk about getting Brenton. There's another plug. If you want to get Brenton a bow and arrow so he can practice on his own, 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. And we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, like I said, I don't shoot guns. I don't hunt, do anything. I would probably enjoy it, but the first thing I think I would probably have to be quiet. I think that would be the biggest
That would
thing.
be hard for you, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but I would give it a try.
Yeah.
I'd give it a try. Other than that, though, yeah, we had that. And guys' weekend, we kind of drove around town and went to ate steaks. You know, that's what guys do, right? Eat steaks and shoot bows.
There you go.
So, anyways, now we're on to this week. This week, anything exciting? You know what? I'm thinking about travel. I'm traveling. I think I put this on Facebook recently. I was thinking about traveling. I'm actually traveling in next month, in a couple weeks. Going to Arizona. Going to Scottsdale area, Mesa area for Nebraska baseballs. They start their preseason tournament down there. So me and 3 other guys are going to go. So it got me thinking about traveling. What kind of exciting? We're going to become the travel agents tonight.
Okay.
Like what are maybe some of your favorite travel destinations that you've gone or experiences that you've done? And then, like, what's something that maybe you found that you liked doing there that you just stumbled upon that maybe nobody else really knows about, or you've told people, hey, if you ever go there, you need to try this. Anything come to your mind? Like any place?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Well, I mean, I'm kind of organizational, so when you say that, I start thinking about, well, I could break this down to when I was a kid and where my parents took us.
Let's start with there.
Okay. Well, there was a trip. So a lot of times our traveling, because my dad is a pastor. So our vacations were going to grandparents' house because we didn't live near them. So a lot of our vacations were just going back to places that are not travel destinations. Superior, Nebraska is not a travel destination. However, when you are there and you're only there, a couple times a year, you find things to do, whether it's to go to the lake across the state line in Kansas, Lovewell Lake, or going camping with grandma and grandpa in the pickup camper. That was always fun. Fishing, where we'd put 8 fishing lines in the water and put bells on the rods. And so those were always good memories and stuff. But there was one trip that we took as a family. We got a timeshare of a friend of my dad's, and we went to Pagosa Springs, Colorado.
Oh,
You've been there?
Yeah, because Dick and Karen had a timeshare also in Pagosa Springs.
Yeah. So we went to Pagosa for about a week and maybe 5 days or something, and we did a bunch of stuff. We were staying. The timeshare was right on a golf course, so what was really cool is there's a little par 3 outside of our condo, and we played that golf course every day. Us boys did, Brady and my dad and I, and so then we would go. It would get dark at night, but this little par 3 had like a little island green, peninsula green.
Yeah.
It was maybe 110 yards or something like that. So we all took golf balls out one night in the dark, went down to the tee box, and we're like, okay, this is where it was earlier today. So we all tried to hit the green and listen for the splash. That was kind of cool, playing golf in the dark. But then we also went horseback riding that trip when Brady was little, and he was scared of horses. And I remember that when we went out there, the lady was trying to get him to be comfortable with it. And so she started crawling on her hands and knees underneath the horse's belly. And, little did we know at the time, but I've known since, but you can tell how docile a horse is by if you can mess with their underside, and they don't spook. So
yeah,
it was pretty cool. That was a good trip. My dad taught us how to play poker that trip with Skittles and pretzels. Probably shouldn't say that, but I just did. So
Too late now. We can edit it out or make it sound worse than it is.
it was funny because we would be playing. I mean, we were kids, so
Yeah.
he's teaching us, and we're like, I don't have anything to bet. Well, what happened to all your Skittles? I ate them.
Yeah, you're not supposed to eat that stuff. You're supposed to be betting the blind.
Some of our good trips as a family growing up were, those to Superior, or if we got to go take a church trip, like we enjoyed going to. I still enjoy things like this, which I'm weird, I know, but going to like assemblies and things like that, and staying in a hotel and things that we didn't normally get to do. Those were fun experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, when growing up, if we're just going to go in order of, growing up younger and teenage time. But growing up, my dad had 2 weeks off of work during the summer. They had shut down at Kawasaki. And so we used to take, almost sometimes 2-week trips. I remember one time we went out to the Pacific Northwest when I was really young and went up to the Portland area. I barely remember it, to be honest with you. We ended up at Disney. I do remember that. But yeah, we used to go camping all the time. We liked to camp. We had a bunch of camping gear, everything. So, the thought of camping now and laying on the ground, I know. But so yeah, camping was fun. We used to tents and everything and outdoor. I mean, there was no campers, no nothing. So it was in areas where I remember I think it was in Oregon, and maybe somebody who's listening to the podcast will have to remind me and email in. But pretty sure when we were in Oregon, when we were camping there, we had a bear come to the campsite. Most of the campsites on the ends of the picnic tables have like a locker kind of thing on it, so you can put your food in it. But we remember hearing the bears like right outside of our tent. Like you have this little nylon tent or whatever it's made out of, right? And you're like, yeah, this bear could just come through here and kill us if they wanted to. So remember that, because they would come down every evening or early morning and start rummaging through things, and so I do remember those times. So. Well, yeah. What about anything? So I mean, as a teenager, traveling with the youth group was always fun wherever we went, right? Like, yeah, the youth group trips were always fun, and people would get in trouble.
Yeah, I had a good youth group trip. Blue team trip we talked about him when we had all our buddies on. Michael Downs was our youth pastor, and we had the blue team trip because the blue team won the summer point system and youth group, and that was an amazing trip. We ended up going to a KU basketball game, and we were sitting way up top. I've told this story a million times, but Michael was a huge Jayhawk fan, huge Roy Self fan, and our seats are way up top. But Michael was like, "I want to go down by the tunnel when they walk out and see if we can't see Coach Smith or Self or not Self, Roy."
No, Roy Smith.
Roy Smith.
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams. That's right. Roy Williams. Roy Williams. Dean Smith. Roy Williams. Bill.
There we go.
Roy Williams. And so he was a big fan.
Dean Self.
So I said, "Yeah, I'll go down there with you." So we're standing down there waiting for him to come out. And they come out. We're like front row where the roped section is as they're walking into the tunnel. And like, I don't care. I'm not a Jayhawk fan. I don't care, but I do like basketball. Well, the players go running out. That was cool. Well, then here comes Roy Williams, walks right past us. I'm like, "Michael, say something. Shake his hand. Give him a high five." He was shell shocked. And I was like, "Dude, we waited down here for 20 minutes and you didn't even say hi to him."
Yeah, I mean, you mean like back in the day, he used to talk to Tom Osborne. What's your problem?
Yeah, I did that too.
Yeah, I guess I don't remember you going on that trip.
Yeah, that was a good trip. I can't remember what all we did, but the KU game was kind of the pinnacle of that trip. So that was fun.
Well, I wasn't really in Michael's youth group.
No,
That
you
was
were gone.
after my time, but I was out of there. I got voted off the island.
You had to follow a girl.
Follow a girl? She followed me. No, that's not true. Yeah, youth group trips were always entertaining. Camp, I mean, obviously traveling to camp as a big group was always fun, but and memorable. But what about anything that you like when you traveling with your kids? What's something that's kind of stood out? What kind of trips and fun things have you comes to memories for you?
Well, I want to say this too. I'll give a shout out to my mom and dad. I mean, I was raised not well off by any means, but we were always, as a kid, we always seemed like we were comfortable. I mean, we knew we were poor. My parents didn't hide it from us or try to pretend or anything like that, but they did the best they could, and we had a blast every time we went somewhere. But the thing that my parents always had said too, and they've said it now, I mean, as a parent, you want your kids to be better than you. You want them to succeed and grow but there's so much, even in our generation, there's so many people like our peers that probably assume they need to be better than their parents right away and not work for it. And that's wrong. That's not good. But one of the things that we were able to do with our kids, we traveled a lot with our kids, and very blessed to be able to do that, which was a lot of fun. We took our kids to a lot of different places through different vacations and trips we took, which I'm really proud of that we were able to do that. So, I mean, we've been in a lot of places. Some of those cool places with the kids, Honduras, Belize, Mexico, obviously those places.
That was all during your cruises, right?
Oh yeah, we've been on a lot of cruises, but to me, there's so much value in a cruise just because of those places. I mean, yeah, our kids, we went to a couple cruises that were the same, because of affordability and stuff. But as the kids got older, the cruises changed for them too, which was really cool to see them enjoy them, embrace them more. But yeah, I mean, we went tubing in Belize, in some caves. I mean, I just remembered floating down that cave thinking, man, what a blessing this is that I can bring my kids to a different country and go do an excursion like this where we can float down this river into these caves that their peers never would have been able to do something like that. And so that was pretty cool. Those are cool places that we've been, and it was a lot of fun. We've never done Disney, so that's always been one of those things we never were able to do for our kids. And I've never been to Disney myself, so those kind of things. We did a lot, like even in Missouri, when we lived in Missouri, we got a membership to Six Flags, which was about 2 hours away.
In St. Louis,
In St. Louis. And so we would do that like on a Monday. I have Mondays off, so you could go into the park on a Monday and it was a lot less crowded. So that was kind of cool to be able to do that with the kids too. So those are some, yeah. You guys have been to a lot of places too. You guys have taken your kids to some great destinations.
Yeah, I mean, we've been blessed. I mean, most of we have been to Disney. Disney was a gift through an organization called Memory for Kids. They presented that gift to the kids and to our family since somebody nominated my wife when she was going through cancer treatments and stuff. So they paid for us to go to Disney, and we made the most of that. I mean, it was a quick trip. Now that I look back on it, we should have taken more time. But but yeah, we've been to Disney. I mean, the same thing. Like, I like traveling in a car. Like, I like having a car. I like that. I'm weird. I guess I like that windshield time and just hanging out. Like, maybe because most are traveling in Nebraska, you can get, you can go 12 hours. You can get somewhere pretty decent most places. And we know people. So we like seeing people when we travel as well. I mean, when you were living in Illinois and even in Missouri and I don't know, Oklahoma, the countless place, Kansas. I mean, we would make our holiday trips or whatever long weekend trips to come see you guys. We enjoyed that. We loved it, and we always found something different to do each time, or just experience different areas. Especially when you were in Iberia, that was an area of the Ozarks that we hadn't ever been to before, and not that we did a lot, but just venture.
Yeah.
Well, I always joke with my kids, it's like, we're just going to take wherever the wind takes us, and they don't like that because they want to know. But yeah, we have traveled a lot. We got really lucky when they gave you those COVID, I don't remember, they gave I don't know how much money the government gave you for having kids and all that, whatever that payment was. I don't remember what it was.
The stimulus check.
Stimulus check, that's what it was. And you spent money, but you didn't go anywhere because, right, in COVID, we got lucky, and it worked out that Hawaii, Southwest started flying to Hawaii again. And so with our points, we actually got to go to Hawaii on points that we have just spent, because we don't usually fly very often. But yeah, we got really lucky, and I was able to put together not a direct flight, but multiple stops to get us to Hawaii. But it was all done by points. It cost us $11, I think, a person to pay for the taxes each time that you had to pay for your flight. So, that was, and the stimulus paid for our housing there. So I asked my kids the other day, I was like, if you had a choice, would you rather go back to Hawaii or Disney? And they said, don't put that on us. Don't put that on us.
But you're about to embark on your best travel destination of all time. That's where you started this, is you put it out there on Facebook the other day.
I did. I'm going to be spending some time in the Pac Northwest.
Yeah.
And going to see what this place is all about that people talk about.
This God's country.
God's country. Yeah, I'm going to, we're going to spend some time there. Hang out.
Yeah.
See what's going on. Facebook put a bunch of things on there to go do and not to do, and what donut shops not to go to. I guess that's popular.
It's hard to find. There's famous donut shops that have been famous by TV or whatever the shows are, but I find it hard to find good donuts around here and good barbecue. So don't come out here looking for the best donuts or the best barbecue. You won't find it.
Yeah, great. Should I just bring donuts and barbecue with me?
You probably could. Yeah.
Yeah, and Runzas and
yeah. But I do make the world's most famous popcorn.
That's what we hear. Except there's one person who doesn't like it.
He does now. He does now.
Oh, yeah, we paid him off. That's right. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to, in my adult age, I haven't been out to the Pac Northwest, so I'm looking forward to enjoy that journey and what's out and about there for whatever amount of time I decide to stay there for.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be a day, could be a week, could be a month, could be for the rest of my life. You never know.
You never know.
It depends on who sells me the best deal.
That's what I said when I moved out here. You just never know.
Well, yeah. And yeah. So, but yeah, no, we enjoy traveling. With the things that have happened with my wife's medical journey, we haven't been able to travel, and that's, it's bothered me not being able to do that, but slowly we're going to get back into it. We want to take advantage of any of that time to go anywhere and everywhere. So, but some of the trips that our kids talk about are easy ones, like Branson. Like, our kids really enjoyed Branson.
That's a good one.
Yeah,
I like Branson too.
It was super simple. That trip was supposed to be a Black Hills weekend, an extended weekend, and then it snowed 1,000 feet, and so we went south to Branson, and we had nothing planned. Booked a hotel at the last minute. Ended up being next door to a theater that had a really good show at it, and found a really good barbecue place by your recommendation. And and just enjoyed everything that we did there. And the kids still talk about it to this day.
When you went to Branson, did you go to Dixie Stampede?
We did not. No.
So that was a youth group trip that I went on, and we got to go to Dixie Stampede. I got to go out on the arena floor at Dixie Stampede. That was pretty cool.
So I don't even know what that show's about.
So it's like the two sides. I'm gonna get the timing, the history of it wrong, but it's like the Civil War and
Oh, yeah.
so there's two different sides, and they do these different games with the horses and all the stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's a big horse arena on the floor. And so then they called us out there was a few of us from our group that got to go out on the floor and compete and look like a fool. So that was fun. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, when we were at Disney, Bree got dragged into the Lion King live acrobat show.
Oh, wow.
And so she got to walk around the whole live stage. So that was kind of a cool memory.
Yeah.
The other fun thing about Disney when we were there is during one of the parades, the big dragon that is in the parade caught on fire. So that was awesome. That made the news while we were there, and we were standing right next to it and have pictures of it. But yeah, no, those are fun things that the kids now they just want to go back because they're so young when they went before.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we've done, yeah.
That's why we did so many cruises with the kids, is because when the different ages, it changes for them. And even though you can go on the same thing, you got to experience something different. And as they got older, they got more freedom, and it was pretty cool too. So, but there was when on one of the cruises, they do shows and things as well, and game shows. And two of my kids got on a game show there once. I got on a game show once. But the real good story is we went with some adult friends on a cruise, and the same person that used to not like my popcorn, his wife, I'll leave her name out of it. We go to dinner that night, and she's like, I would really love to get on stage for this show. I'm like, I can get you on stage. I know how to do it. And she's like, are you serious? I said, yeah, I've been on stage before. And my ex-wife now, she's like, yep, he can do it. He'll get you on stage if you want to be on stage. So she's all excited about it, my buddy's wife. And so I'm like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go in here. We're going to sit right by the aisle. When they start calling for contestants, you got to just do exactly what I do. You do exactly what I do, you're going to get on stage. And so she's like, okay, I'm ready. Well, what you got to do is you got to act like a fool. You got to just be crazy. And so the guy starts asking these questions, and I stand up on my chair, and I'm like screaming like a little schoolgirl and waving my arms. And she's over on the floor laughing at me. And I'm like, you're the one that wanted to be on the show.
And you embarrassed her.
I guess so. I probably embarrassed myself, but I didn't care. So
yeah, but none of those people, besides the ones you came with, you're never going to see again.
Right. Yeah, I've never seen anybody that I've been on a cruise with.
Have you ever been traveling somewhere and ran into people you know?
Yes.
Not like, you go to a conference, you're going to see people, but like just a regular, you're like, what? How did I see you here?
Yeah. Well, and this wasn't like very far away, but when we lived in Iberia, and like I mentioned, we'd go to Six Flags. And it seemed like every time we went to Six Flags, we saw somebody from our little town of Iberia, which was 700 people. And every time we were in Six Flags, there would be somebody wearing a Rangers shirt or something. And we're like, wait a minute. We know you. Why are you here?
That's cool.
So yeah, those are pretty cool places. But yeah, there's, small world things. I ran into somebody, somebody I knew from Colorado, kind of acquaintance-like, but he knew my name, I knew his name, and then we ran into each other in Podunk, small town, Nebraska, one night at a football game, and I was like, I cannot believe you're here. It was pretty crazy, but yeah, those are cool things too.
I ran into a high school classmate in I'm pretty sure it was the St. Louis airport. We were coming back, and my memory is not great on this because I can't remember if it was coming back from Disney or we were coming back from Dallas. through St. Louis connection. But it felt like when we went to Dallas, it was a direct flight. So I feel like it was my Florida flight because I think Dallas is a direct flight. Anyways, we're just walking through the airport and I'm like pointing and like, I know you. Hang on a second. Why are you here? What are you doing following me? But yeah, that is kind of a surreal kind of run into somebody they really hadn't seen since high school that I see randomly in an airport. And yeah. I mean, that's probably where the most common people probably run into people is probably the airport, I would imagine. So, but yeah, good times. We were on when we went to Dallas. One of the memories our kids have is that Gas Monkey Garage show that used to be on Discovery Channel, I believe. We were there during a live taping one time. Cool. Yeah, there's like I have a video of us filming them when we weren't supposed to be filming because they tell you to put your stuff away, and well, I don't listen. And so it was cool to kind of be there on a taping day. So, I mean, everybody was huddled. They like push everybody off of the property into like the gift shop area so they can film out in the parking lot. So, but yeah, so that was just a random. We just showed up at the garage just to, hey, let's see if we can find it. Let's just drive around Dallas and see if we can run into something. Kind of like when we were driving around Dallas when we went and ran into the grassy knoll. Remember that? We're just like, I don't know where we're at. Yeah. So we were looking for barbecue that day too.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking of some other things when you brought up this topic. I thought, there's one of my favorite cities to go visit is New Orleans. Is really cool place to be. Key West, Florida is another place that I would go back in a heartbeat. You talk about good food, good atmosphere. I mean, atmosphere that is cultured. Let's put it that way. Both New Orleans and Key West. It's not necessarily places for kids per se. Yeah. But definitely a cultured experience to go to New Orleans and also to Key West, Florida. So, and I've been to Cuba. I can't forget to talk about Cuba. Cuba was an amazing trip too. So
that was on a cruise though too, right?
It was, yeah. That was the same trip as Key West. We went to Key West and then we stood on one of the places in Key West when we took a little trolley ride around and went to Ernest Hemingway's house and some of his places. Well, then you can see from Key West, you can see out into the direction of Cuba, and it's pretty cool. There's like the closest Walmart there's not Walmart in Key West, and but you're closer to Cuba than you were to Walmart in Key West is what the sign said.
That's crazy. So that's how we measure things in America.
Yep.
You are closer to Canada than you are to a Walmart. America's hat.
But Cuba was amazing. The cars, the old cars that they I don't want to say they restore them because the outside of the car is what looks really cool, but on the inside it's like a Honda Civic. But they just the whole country, just the history there. We got to go down in this bunker and see all this stuff from the Cuban Missile Crisis and the JFK stuff, all that stuff where you're seeing their side of the story.
Yeah.
Which is, as an American in Cuba, it's a little different feel for sure.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
Now, was that when you ported out of New Orleans and then went over to Key West? I assume that's the cruise. Is that the one? Did you ever port out of New Orleans?
Oh yeah.
For a cruise? Yeah.
Yep. Gotcha. And those are cool when you're coming back into port from New Orleans because you get to come in through I think the proper geographical term is the Delta of the Mississippi, where it enters into the Gulf of Mexico or the Gulf of America now.
Is it the Gulf of America for sure?
I don't know, but
it's
when you're taking the cruise ship up through the Delta, you're going through all these different little turns because it's so. But you get to see all the oil rigs because you're usually coming in at night, and it's like these little cities on the water, which is really, really a cool sight to see.
Huh. I've never. Yeah, New Orleans is a town that I would love to go visit sometime. Probably more of an adult trip, probably
Yeah.
more than anything.
You got to go to, even though it's touristy, Cafe Du Monde is well worth it. Right there down in the market area. So
let's go. So most of the time when you travel, do you do a lot of research of stuff like to do while you're there, or is most of that just kind of you just go with what everybody else is doing, or what's your travel itinerary usually for you? Like, do you plan the things? Was it your ex? Was it kids making decisions?
Usually not me. I just go with the flow. When I go on vacation, normally it takes me a couple days to unwind and check out and unplug. That's why another reason why I like the cruise is because you can just stick your phone in the safe in the room and just unplug completely, which is really nice to do. But no, I would just go with the flow. Now, if I was going, like I planned a trip with my son for his 14th birthday, and we went to Chicago, and so then it was just he and I, and so I planned some of that, and he planned some of it, and places he wanted to go and see. And so, if I'm the one that needs to plan it, I don't mind planning it. But I also, part of vacation to me is relaxing, and so I don't want to be doing something all the time.
Yeah, I think most of the time, I'm a big, I will research a lot on places to go and do, and then I'll have like a list of like when someone says, hey, we should go do something, and be like, well, I have this list of things we can do. We kind of did that in Chicago. We didn't really know what to do with a couple friend that we went with. And it's just like, well, what do you guys want to do? And then they weren't planners, including my wife. And, well, whatever you want to do, you run into those couples, right? Or the group of people. Well, we don't really know what to do. And so I'm like, well, I got a list. And then these are places I've researched to eat. Let's find places around there and go. So, but yeah, I usually plan that. Like my trip, for Phoenix or coming to the Pac Northwest, I'll look at places and kind of have a list of things to want to get on the list to do. So
yeah,
that's how I relax, right? Just by researching everything.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yep, doer and goer.
So,
well, that's cool. We are your travel guides tonight. And if you have any tips for Justin as he makes the trek out here to the PNW, give us a shout. 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. That's the number 3 day old podcast spelled out one word, all lowercase, for those of you that are worried about that, at gmail.com, and let us know. Speaking of that, let's transition a little bit. We asked, you delivered, or 2 of you delivered.
Maybe all the other emails went to spam.
I didn't check that. We should check that real quick.
Yeah, because maybe we blocked.
No spam.
No spam. Dang.
So a big shout out to your sister, Michael Rabel Topol. Is that how you say her last name?
Topol, yeah.
Topol.
Yeah.
She emailed us twice this week for the email machine out there. We won't give her email address out to you, but thank you, Michael.
If we pay me, I'll do it.
Yeah. Thanks for reaching out and engaging with us. Also, Emma, you can check her out, Nails by MCath on Instagram. She reached out, and they both engaged our how many episodes have you listened to poll question. And so Michael says to us on the email machine, just wanted to say, number 1, I have listened to every episode. And number 2, I love Culver's.
I love Culver's.
So she's giving out gift cards or paper kids meal ice creams that Justin has saved up for.
Yeah. And also, I'll throw it out there too. My son, he listens to an episode every night he goes to bed. And last night, he listened to it, and this morning I woke up at 5:30, 5:45, and I hear my voice in his room. And I'm like, what is going on in there? And I was like, oh, the podcast is going. Usually he listens to one, he puts music on and goes to bed. But yeah, so he's probably over time probably listened to every episode.
Since you're closer, you're going to have to hook up Michael with a gift card. I'll have to hook up Emma with a gift card since she reached out and said, Dad, I've listened to all of your episodes, and so I need a gift card now. I should win.
Yeah, so, you'll probably have to take her to Chick-fil-A or something.
Chick-fil-A or her coffee shop here, Red Bull shop that she likes to go to. So
Red Bull shop? You have a Red Bull shop?
It's like a Dutch Bros or...
Oh, Dutch Brothers.
But it's not Dutch Brothers, but yeah. Dutch Bros, not Dutch Brothers.
Oh, okay.
You're old.
I'll put it on the list.
Yeah. Dutch Bros was founded in Oregon. So
you don't say.
There you go. Come on out. Have you some Dutch Bros. So thank you, Michael, for emailing us to the email machine, 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. Thank you, Emma, for reaching out and listening. Thank you, Brenton, for listening to every episode, even while you sleep. I think that might cause bad dreams, but you might want to get that looked at.
Yeah, well, maybe, hopefully it doesn't put him in counseling.
But he was one that said, when are you coming back? He missed us.
He was all about it. He was worried that me and you were never going to talk again.
Yeah, if we've made it this far, I think we're good to go. So
yeah.
But hey, we got a game to predict this weekend.
It's a big one. Big one. Giant. The skills competition on Thursday.
It is
for the NFL.
The NFL flag football game.
Yes. On Sunday.
Speaking of that, we got a few minutes before we got to wrap this up. What is the best and your favorite All-Star game weekend of the major sports, and what is your least favorite aspect of All-Star weekend?
You know what? For all sports, right?
Yeah. Well, for all major sports.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with. I think I like NHL's All-Star Weekend. I like the skills competition, and I like their All-Star game is like it's 20-minute quarters, right? And they do little they have 4 teams that I think they do it, and then they play the championship in that third period. So it's like having a whole game, but it's like a little mini series kind of thing.
Round robin thing.
Yeah. I kind of like that. It doesn't expose players, like the NFL says, well, these guys don't want to get hurt, right? But they still can provide to the crowd and stuff. And I think I like that. And I think the NHL does that really well. And I like the skills challenge, probably because it's something I don't do. And I enjoy. I like playoff hockey for NHL, so that's the only time I ever watch it. Or if I go to the Stars game, but the Stars game here in Lincoln. But yeah, no, I think I like NHL. I mean, you can't go wrong with MLB either, All-Star Weekend either, but with home run contest. But that's getting kind of silly now. So
yeah,
what about you?
I choose for multiple reasons, but I think for me the best All-Star Weekend is the NBA. I think the way they do, the celebrity game, and then they do the skills competition, 3-point contest. The dunk competition's kind of outdated because nobody wants to do it anymore. But as a former shooter, I like watching the 3-point contest and seeing that. But the game itself is a joke. But at the same time, I also like the NBA All-Star Game because it brings back memories. We had friends that would come see us every All-Star weekend, and so they would come out and see us, and our kids would hang out, and we would sit there and watch the weekend festivities together and just veg out. They were very busy people, so when they came to see us, that all they wanted to do was just veg out and not do anything, which we were fine with. So those were cool, good memories, fun times, and so I would go NBA. I think the biggest joke of one is the NFL.
I agree.
They're trying to do the skills thing, and that's fine and dandy and whatever. And flag football, come on.
Yeah, I think I wish that they. Yeah, I don't know. I don't mind skills. I think every sport has some type of skills competition. That's fun and that gets interaction and but yeah, the game itself, doing flag football, yeah, I don't know how would you reinvent that? What would you do? Practice squad guys?
No, I would either get rid of it altogether or make them play their game. I mean, if don't talk to me about injuries. When I grew up playing football, what I was taught was when you go out there and play football, a physical contact sport, and you go half speed trying not to get hurt is when you're going to get hurt. So just go out there and play your game. It's just
Yeah.
like another preseason game. You're only going to play a quarter or a half anyway because there's going to be enough players to get everybody else in. So just go play.
Do you think it makes a difference that it's at the end of the year?
Maybe. I mean, what are you going to do? Do whoever made it this year to put it at the beginning in preseason? I mean, you could,
Yeah.
but you
Maybe
can't do
like
mid-season in the NFL. That
well,
doesn't
that's
work.
what I was gonna say. Like, how would that even look if you try to do a mid-season
You can't.
NFL? Yeah,
No.
you couldn't. It would break up the flow of everything.
Yeah. They're going to add an 18th game to the regular season in the NFL, and it's. I guess you could incentivize it.
Well, it would have to be collectively bargained that
Yeah.
they would have to play.
But I mean, if you put money on it, that's what the NBA started doing with their skills
Yeah.
competition. I mean, you start giving these guys a fat paycheck to be there and participate and do well. Yeah.
Well, the game itself for the NBA, there's incentives in there too for
Yeah.
their. So yeah, once you start incentivizing it.
And I do like the NBA's fourth quarter rule too. I think that's cool.
That's what I'm talking about. Is it really starts to drive that competition for that fourth quarter? The first three quarters are just
It's
dunk,
like
the dunk contest.
Who can do the most amazing alley oop? Yeah.
Yeah, that's where the dunk contest should be judged. They should do the dunk contest
As part of
judging
the
during
game.
that time as part of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when they should
every
do
dunk
it.
gets judged. That would be cool.
That's where they should do it.
Yeah.
And just
Good
move
call.
it out of maybe that's what they should do. So they should do for football, just guys randomly stop and they kick a field goal for 60 yards and see what happens.
Yeah.
Accuracy. I don't know.
7.
Yeah, I would agree with you about the NFL. That one's not even fun to watch. So with that being said, when we watch it this weekend, who are you rooting for? Team Manning or Team Manning?
I am going to be Team Manning, but I think the Democrats win.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Good
all have free time on their hands, so I think they're going to win.
Well, they're all. Well, I mean, you're not saying anything that's not true. I mean, based off the party,
we had to get politics in here and sports in here and travel and entertainment. So I'm just trying to cover all our bases.
Yeah, no, you're good.
If you hate on our takes, email us at 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com.
If you were a president, how often would you play golf?
Ooh. Are you wanting a serious answer?
Yeah, I'm just curious.
I would probably slant more towards the George W. Bush's approach to golf, and if there's work to do, I'm not playing golf. But if I'm hosting somebody, that likes to play golf from another country or whatever, and they want to play golf, then it becomes a business trip and not a leisure trip. But at the same time, I can argue both sides of this coin. Now, whatever the number is that they come up with, like 74 times in 4 years or whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
whatever.
I don't know. But when you're in that position and you go to Camp David and you get some time away, because you're really not away, you're on call for.
Oh, you're
on the job for 4 years straight, at least.
Correct.
And so when you get a chance to go at least take a break, I mean, I'm not going to fault them for doing it, but, you might want to be considerate of your constituents for sure.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, yeah. I mean, everybody should get a day off or a few hours off.
Yeah.
If you get 5 hours to yourself to go play golf, just let it be.
Well, and you're not by yourself. I mean, like I said,
No,
he's
I
always
know.
on. So he's
Yeah.
got the most obnoxious group on the golf course ever.
It's true. It's true.
I know they don't let anybody else on, but if they did, can you imagine following that crusade around the golf
No,
course?
the president's the Secret Service everywhere and
Yeah.
bushes and stuff. Yeah, it'd be ridiculous. Can I play through? And you're like, sorry, there's 40 of us here. Nope, you can't.
Yeah.
You can't. You couldn't cheat either.
Yeah.
They would
No.
catch you.
Yeah.
Oh well, sorry. I would sneak in golf when I could. Yeah, on my day off.
Yeah.
I would get around in.
I might have a simulator put into the White House somehow so that people couldn't monitor how much you're playing golf.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah. There's this TV show about simulating golf. I think you'll probably get something figured out.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
good deal, man.
So, what do you got for the next 3 days?
Oh, more archery. Church-related things. Not much. Just kind of same weekend of just hanging out. Like I said, Brenton's got archery. We'll probably get out. Hopefully it'll be nice. We can get out this weekend and go do something as a family. Yeah, other than that, just kind of laying low. Like I said, I'm traveling later in February, so kind of hanging out, not doing much. What about you? What you got going
on? Not much. This weekend we got some games. Friday night, Elliot's playing again, and pretty chill weekend, I think. So
is he dunking yet in basketball?
No, he's not. Right. He is very athletic. He's a good ball player. He's playing really good right now. He's coming off an injury. That's part of it.
Yeah.
So his ankle is still not 100%, but he's getting his speed back. He's getting his lateral quickness back, and so his shot is coming along as well. So he's fun to watch. I enjoy watching him play.
Well, good deal. Maybe one day. Maybe he'll still be playing when I venture that area.
No, he won't be.
Dang it. Season will be over?
Season will be over, but
unbelievable. I'll fly him in for an all-star game here.
There you go. Real quick, though, do you remember, I'm not asking for an attaboy, but you and I played basketball together.
Yes.
For a while.
Yeah.
We were decent ball players.
Yeah, I always thought I was amazing. So,
well, yeah, I didn't think that about myself, but we could hold our own, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting to me. You might be able to put some knowledge into my son, but I mean, he thinks I was just garbage of a player. So,
well, what do you think he bases that off of?
Me now.
Just watching you shoot around now?
No, I mean, I can still shoot, but I'm old and fat, so I'm slow and slower than I used to be, and I get tired faster and all these things. But no, I can still shoot. Yeah, he knows I can shoot, but I will say this, and that's where I was going with this, not about me, but about him. He is a way better ball player than I ever was.
Yeah.
And it's just fun to watch him, and he's so coachable. And to see him lead his team every night is pretty cool. To watch him take the younger players and kind of get them to calm down, and he just commands the court when he's out there, and so it's a lot of fun because we played the same position, so it's kind of fun to watch him do the same thing.
Yeah, I humble my son when we play basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, no, I think there are some people across the state of Nebraska that would probably say we were decent players because they didn't like playing against us. I can think of a few names.
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, I think that's just I think any kid, Brenton does that to me now. Is like, no, Dad, you couldn't do that. There's no way you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I could throw a football over this mountain.
Put me in, coach.
But no, yeah, I mean, I guess unless they watch film. I mean, that's the nice thing about it nowadays. We don't have film out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have anything digital, nothing on camera, so our stuff would have been in camp videos.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. So, but anyway, well, yep, that's what we got going on. It's anything else you want to say to the world tonight?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Please listen to our show. Oh wait, if they're already listening to it, they've already listened to it. Oh, dang it. That's not how this works.
And
no, it's good. Yeah, getting used to the swing of things again. Planning my weeks around filming a podcast. Take a few weeks off. You're like, freedom, and then you're like, okay, well, got to be responsible for our millions of listeners. They want to listen to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Not a million yet. So, all right, man.
Well, if you're listening to us and you have a comment about our takes tonight, 3dayoldpodcast@gmail.com. Check us out on all the socials. Check our link tree and find the show. If you found the show, good for you. Keep listening. And thanks for joining us one more week. So, brought to you by D-Lander Leadership Consulting. Another week for 3-Day Old Podcast. Thanks for joining us. Here's to a lack of communication of irrelevant aged news. We'll see you next time.
See ya.